All right, welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily, and we're having interesting conversations this morning. Now, of course, this is the Mother's Day weekend that we're getting into, and of course, you know that on the 8th, we're having an event at the Xenia Event Center. You want to make sure that you get your mommy a ticket to that event as a gift to her, to go and enjoy herself, of everything that she's done for you. At least the least thing you can do is to help her celebrate her Mother's Day with other mothers as well. So all roads lead to the Xenia Event Center this weekend. But right now, I have another mother on the set with me, and she's Reverend Dr. Comfort Asare. Now, she's the Director of Social Welfare, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. I'm going to delve into her life. She's my personality for the day today. We're going to delve into her life and just find out all the things that motivate her and keep her in this job for as long as she's been doing this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Asare, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go way back to the beginning. Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Yes, I was born in Accra.
Okay.
According to my mother at Mamprobi.
Okay.
And we moved to Sekendi, Takrady when I was 10 months old.
Okay.
So we lived at Sekendi, Maxwell Road. My father is late Justice J.K. Isiem of the Appeal Court. My mom used to work with the Department of Social Welfare, but resigned. My father also worked with the Department of Social Welfare as a hospital welfare officer before he went to do law.
Yeah.
And we moved to Sekendi. I grew up there, and I attended Agri Memorial Key Primary School, which is at Bakano, at Sekendi. I attended Takwa Secondary School for my O-level and A-levels. I became assistant girls prefect. I have 17 siblings, 13 coming from my mother alone. And I'm the number 5. And unfortunately, we've lost 3. But the 10 of us are doing very well by the grace of God.
That's amazing.
And from there, I did my national service at Salem Secondary School. Then I went to School of Social Work, because I didn't get the grades that would make me qualify.
Salem Secondary School where?
At Osu Salem.
Osu
Salem in Accra here. Because at age 16, my father had this appointment as boundary road, some commission or something, land commission, something. I've forgotten the work, but he was there, and we moved to Accra. So from 16 years I've been in Accra. We lived together as one big family.
So at what time was this?
This one, I was doing my national service at Salem Secondary School. And on the far right, there's an interesting personality too in this picture. The lady on my far right, left this way, is Dr. Anas, who is now the regional director of social welfare for Greater Accra region.
Oh, wow.
So when I saw the picture, I said, wow, this is Anastasia.
Interesting.
Yes, this one, I was at Salem Secondary School doing my national service after my sixth form.
Wow.
So,
after Salem?
Yes, I went to School of Social Work. School of Social Work to do the certificate course in social work.
Yeah.
From there, I worked with the Department of Social Welfare. I've been with the department since 1989, January.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
I
a long
completed there
time.
in 1988. Yes, long time.
That's
I love working.
33 years.
Yes, I love working to help vulnerable people.
Welfare space.
I can't stand it when I see people are suffering.
Wow.
It's a passion I have.
Let me ask you this question. Why is it that the social safety nets within our society seem not to be as strong as other countries? But we've had School of Social Work for ages. It's been there, we have a lot of vulnerable people living on the streets. We have streetism culture, all these things. What's the challenge? There doesn't seem to be, an easy correlation between how established this School of Social Work has been, plus other, departments that we have in universities and so on and so forth, and the challenges that we face in our society?
Thank you. Social work, School of Social Work has been in existence for a long time, and I know they have turned out a lot of students. There are lots of officers at the Department of Social Welfare who attended the school. Even the current principal was also a student himself.
Okay.
Talking about social safety nets and why we are not seeing the impacts of what we're doing, I think in Ghana here we are not enforcing laws. Okay. We are not enforcing laws because a lot of parents are, excuse me to say, irresponsible. They are not really taking care of their children. They are not building that kind of foundation that the children need. And we take things for granted. The society is such that people think they can do anything. People are giving support even through LEAP, but they still go out to beg.
Okay.
I have encountered some of them, and they told me for the LEAP money they would take, but after taking, they will go back to beg.
Wow.
And people have been supported also with set-up capital, with equipment, with tools, but they are back on the streets begging. People have been giving shops, maybe philanthropists have set them up in business, but they are back on the streets. And you wonder why. It looks as if begging and roaming on the streets is something that is lucrative, and they enjoy doing it because Ghanaians too, being religious as we are, we think if you give, then you get closer to God and you maybe attract the favor of God. So the giving aspect of our lives has also, in a way, motivated some people to live on the streets. There are certain there are some children that we have identified who have even passed through our hands for character reformation. We reformed them, we took them back to school, but they are back on the street. You can't blame government for that. It is the home. If the home is not ready to support their members, then the people, when they are frustrated or depressed,
they just go back.
They just go back. It is the home. We always say poverty, but poverty should not prevent you from loving your child. Poverty should not prevent you from counseling your child, bringing your child very close to you. Because there are some who grow up in kiosks and they have come out and helped.
And done well.
And there are people who are even, excuse me to say, orphans, who had no one caring for them. But they are doing well now. So what are we saying?
Okay.
Some get the resources, some get the support. And sometimes when people are being supported, they think then that is what I should be receiving every day, or that should be my life. Every day people should care for me. They should give me. They should give me money. They should give me, because there are some people, once you start supporting them, then all the time they call you. I want money to do this. I said, but I gave you 200 cedis only last week. The money you gave me. They forget that you also have your own responsibilities. As you push them, they don't want to push themselves. Now they feel entitled. And they feel, oh, you are somewhere up there in society, so you should take care of me. But that is not it. There are others, when you push them into school or you push them to go and work, they continue. But others will always want to rely on your benevolence, and that is not good enough.
Shouldn't we be having the conversation about becoming more strict as a people to say, you know what? We will not support beggars on the street anymore, as a people, generally speaking. And then let's say that if government is going to put in interventions and do what government should do, then individuals, we do not want people in their vehicles to be doling out monies from their cars to beggars on the street.
Yes, it is something that has attracted a lot of people to the streets, even some of the foreigners on the streets. I saw one interview at one of the stations where some foreigners were interviewed at Kumasi, and they said there's money in Ghana.
Wow.
Because in Ghana, when you beg, you get.
Wow.
Some of these children, they tell us that, you remove them from the streets, take them to school, or enroll them in a skills training institution, and they come back because you are now controlling their lives. They are not doing what they like. They are not eating what they want. That free life is no more there. There are restrictions and the limitations you want to put on their lives is something they don't want. So they run away, they leave.
I see.
And come back to the streets.
I see.
They leave and come back to the streets.
That's really what the issue is. It's an attitudinal problem.
It's an attitudinal problem.
Yeah.
Some genuinely don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So as I speak, it is not everybody that comes back. Some have made it. Some have continued their education. Yeah. Some have finished tertiary. Some are working. Some are on their own. They are living independently. They are off the streets. Because recently when we even had the International Day of Street Children, we had some of them coming to talk about where they were and the support they received. There are lots of NPOs who are working to rescue some of these children. Some go back, but others also stay. So our problem now is with those who go back and those who do not know. If you do not know and you are on the street because you don't have anybody taking care of you, please come to social welfare.
Okay.
We shall definitely find something for you.
Okay.
Come to social welfare.
I'll delve a little further later on into the work of social welfare and so on. But let's talk a bit more about you. And so it was almost as though it was fate. You had to by all means do social work because your mother was in it, your father too began in it, and it's like you didn't have a choice. Would you have done anything different? Could you have done anything different apart from social work, considering your love and your passion, the things you like?
One time I told myself that did I even know what I wanted to become in future? Because first my father told me to go to teacher training and not go to the sixth form.
Okay.
I refused. Even though he took me to go and write the entry exams, I passed. They brought me my admission letter. I refused. Accra Teacher Training Center, I didn't go. I said I'll go to the sixth form because I've passed my O-levels and they've written, 3 schools have written inviting me.
Okay.
So why should I say I want to go to teacher training? So he finally had to agree for me to go and continue my education in the sixth form. Then he also sold the idea of me going to the nursing training college. I told him no. I can't stand the blood. I don't want to see blood around me and on people. So I don't think I have that courage. So I turned down all these 2 offers from him. And he's the same person who took me to social work. He introduced me to the School of Social Work. And in fact, at that time, we were not married, but he told my husband to. So my husband went to buy the forms and brought it, and I filled and they submitted it.
Interesting.
That is what happened. That is what happened. So
I see. But you've loved it, and for 33 years you've been doing this.
Yes, I love it.
If there's one thing that you could change, let's say you had a magic wand, some word from the Lord to say, ask me anything you want, one thing, and I'll do it in the social welfare space, what would it be?
A well-established social welfare system in Ghana that will attend to the needs of the vulnerable, the excluded, and the marginalized. Because that is what has driven some people onto the streets. That is why some people do not have food to eat and they are suffering in their homes. That is why some people are going through abusive relationships and are going to domestic violence and are still in their home. That is why some people are trafficked. If we have a well-established social welfare system with all the resources and the system working efficiently and effectively, I don't think we'll be seeing problems. And that is my dream. It's something that I will ask the Lord to provide for Ghana.
I see. You're very passionate about the space that you're in. Now, talk to us a bit about the work of, the social welfare system that we have in Ghana. I have been privileged to do a little bit of work with the ministry up north, photographing LEAP projects and so on and so forth in quite a number of places, both Upper West and Upper East, and then Northern region as well. Talk to us about some of the successes, the things that you look at and you smile and you feel like, you know what, it's worth it, let me keep going.
Yes, there have been people that we've handled, supported them to overcome their challenges, and they are doing well. You see them and you are happy. There are people who didn't have any means of entering school. We have supported them. Some are now graduates, and we are happy about it. There are people who do not have homes. They don't have parents or relatives to care for them. We have taken care of them at our various residential homes, and they are doing so well. There are some who were brought to us for committing offenses. So we have taken them through character reformation training, and they are reformed. They are doing so well. The LEAP project program, for instance, has also helped a lot of families to now understand their responsibilities and to make sure their children go to school, their children receive health care when they are sick, because of the regular engagements we have with them when we go out to do the LEAP payments from the Ministry of Gender.
Yeah. You mentioned about people that have been brought to you because of offenses they've committed. At what point do they come to you? Because I'm assuming that if they've committed an offense, it means that the police have grabbed them. So at what point do they come to you?
Yes, we have social welfare officers working at the courts as probation officers. And we have correctional institutions. So when a child, for instance, is sent to court and they want to determine what to do with the child, it's the probation officer who writes a social inquiry report and recommends a course of action for the judge or magistrate to take. When that is taken into consideration, the options are either to release the child on probation. Another is to also caution the child. Some of the offenses are minor. Some are first offenders. Some were lured into it by friends or by adults. So based on the background of the case, the social workers recommend appropriate actions to the courts. And some too, because of the nature of the offense they committed, they are committed into residential care. So, and that is what we call the correctional institutions.
So like, for example, what we call the Bostal homes.
Yes, Bostal is for the young adults. That is from
so they are a little older.
They are a little older, and they are under the prison service. And we take care of the children. And we have to make sure that before they leave home, we prepare their homes for their families to receive them and to accept them as members of their family. And we prepare them to not to go back to commit the same offense or go and cause any damage again to the family's reputation. So that is what we do. And others correctional institutions, we don't just keep them locked up. We engage them through counseling. We engage them through training. At our various correctional institutions, we have vocational schools there, so we allow them to be part of the training as a way of engaging them, for them to know that there are better things they can do with their lives and not to go back to be influenced or inspired to do the wrong things.
Now, you're also a Reverend Minister.
Yes.
At what point did you feel that ministry was something that you wanted to be, or you needed to be a part of?
I've had a lot of divine encounters. I've had a lot of divine encounters, even right from my school days. And I remember before I gave my life to Christ, I had a dream where I saw a picture of a man, and supposedly to be the picture of the Jesus that we know. And I was holding a Bible. Let me put it rightly. I was holding a Bible, and I was opening the pages of the Bible, and I came across this picture in the Bible, and then it turned into a human being. And when it turned into a human being, he told me right in my face that if I do not worship him, I will never be blessed. And I was going through a lot of challenges at that time. I was a confused young person growing up. So he had water in his hand, and he was spreading the water across on a lot of people who were standing behind me. I stood right in front of him, and not a drop fell on me. And when I woke up, in fact, I was covered with goose pimples all over on my bed. So I went to my late mom And I told her that this is the dream I've had. And my mother told me that it means God says you should go to church. You should go to church and change your life. So I went to church. I gave my life to the Lord. And after that, I've had other encounters. I knew the Lord was really talking to me, calling me to do something. There was a time I was sitting at my hall. I was weeping because something had happened and I was not happy about it. And as I sat there, I saw the head of Jesus on the wall with the blood and the crown, the blood oozing.
Wow.
It was so real that as I gazed at the picture, it was like I've fallen into a trance. I was sitting at my home and I was weeping at that time, honestly. There were certain things that were not going on well, and that is not what maybe I was expecting in life. So I saw this picture, and a friend of my husband, who is now a reverend minister at the Presbyterian Church in Kumasi, he knocked at the door. When he knocked and I turned and I said, who? And he mentioned his name. I looked back and the picture was gone. So I told him that, you have come to intercept something. You see, I saw this picture. And he said, then the Lord has really been here. And there were a whole lot of
number of them.
Yes, I remember one time I had a dream. I don't know Reverend Otabil. I've never been close to him before. I don't know him. But I was sitting with him in the same couch, and we were chatting. And I've had the same with Reverend Asare. I don't know them. And someone rather dreamt and said she saw Archbishop Duncan Williams in my house. Somebody dreamt. That was not my dream. So it was my pastor, who my general overseer now, Reverend Wisdom Dafemwepo. I'm so grateful to him for the influence and the impact he's made on my life as a Christian and even as a woman. He called me one time at the office and said, I'm going to ordain you.
Wow.
Then I said, wow, going to ordain me? He said I should bring my CV and all the requirements that he wanted. So I submitted, and that is how he ordained me. But before then, I was supporting my husband in ministry. Wherever my husband
is also a minister.
He's also a reverend minister. So whatever he does, and he too has played a role in my life because he started pushing me to lead prayer meetings, come and lead praise and worship, come and do this and that. And I learned a lot through that. He trained me through that, and also he trained me through evangelism. My husband does not know that you have a baby. He will tell you that you need to go and follow up souls. So I remember what I say it, and I say it proudly. But that day I saw that no, this man is mean or something, because why will you tell me, a nursing mother, to go and visit somebody in their house to do follow up? But I obeyed. I obeyed. I remember one time I went with one of my baby was at my back and my son was walking. He was walking, so we went out to evangelize. And today I'm proud about it. And he trained me that way. And that is how it has been. I mean, and in school too, I loved singing. I was in the choir. But I never attended SU anyway. I was not part of SU. Sometimes I visited them. But I was not part of them. But I was a member of the school choir.
Wow. Okay, now let's have this conversation. How has your faith influenced your approach to your work?
Yes. With what we do as a Christian, you have to impact the lives of people, show them the love of Christ, let them know that you stand for the best. And also, you wish them well, and you don't want them to suffer. So I apply that in everything that I do, trying to encourage people, trying to let people know the things that are good and the things that are bad. So sometimes they say I'm strict, but it's only that, there are certain things when you're doing as a child of God, the Holy Spirit will prompt you.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit will let you know that this one, it is not the way to go.
Yeah.
So when you try to tell people that, no, we can't do it this way, let's do it that way, sometimes they think you are strict, but it's because of where I'm coming from. It's because of my faith in the Lord, and because of my background. I always want to do things according to my faith. And also as a social worker, you know, we have our core values, principles, and ethics, which encourages us to always help people who are in need to solve their problems. So it is something that really inspires me when I'm performing my duties.
Okay. We have some messages from social media. Sika ACM says, Big Six, the family is proud of you. Congratulations. Jack Lee says...
That's our 10th one.
Oh, really?
Number 10.
Wow. Okay. Jack Lee says, we're proud of you, director.
He's a deputy director.
Okay. And then here's a question from Solomon Cudworth. She says, Madam, please, practically, what are you doing to change the face of social work in Ghana, considering the resources at your disposal and the problems associated with the merger of social work and community development departments at the district level? I didn't even know they had been merged.
They are merged.
Okay.
At the district level, it is social welfare and community development together under one office named social development. Then at the regional offices, they are separated. At head office, we are separated. And what I'm doing to change the face of social work in Ghana, we are developing some law, a law, I will call it a law. We want a social work bill to go to cabinet and go to parliament for it to be passed into law, so that the profession is given that kind of recognition that it needs in Ghana. Because when you travel outside in the developed world, if you are not a master's degree holder, you can never call yourself a social worker. But here in Ghana, we have lowered it down and even included students. But you join at a particular level, and your responsibilities and commitments too are different, because we want the profession to be understood by all those who practice social work. And we believe that when this law is finally passed, it will bring a lot of sanity into the system, and it will also promote us, and it will attract resources for us to do the things that we always desire to help people.
Talking about you know, the district level and the things that happen in spaces, look at orphanages. Are you able to police, you know, all the orphanages that, you know, have been set up and everything else to make, I mean, because at the end of the day, we do know of stories right in this country where we've been here, and there have been quite some you know, ghastly stories of things that are happening in certain orphanages and so on. Are you able to police them and stay on top of?
Yes. Now we have a gatekeeping policy. You can never accept a child or admit a child into your orphanage without a letter from the Department of Social Welfare. And that letter is issued at the regional and district level. They are there at that level and making sure that children do not enter the homes. And we also have standards now. We have an SOP, we have guidelines, we are doing a lot of training. So all these things, in fact, has built the capacity of operators of residential homes, and then the caregivers as well. I know that now the situation is a bit better, and we are also closing them down. Those that are not doing the right things, we are closing them down. Last year alone, we closed down 10. We closed down 10 orphanages, and we would continue to close them down. And those who are doing well, we shall register them. In fact, we are reducing the numbers at the homes, and our challenge is the number of vulnerable children that we still have to rescue. And when we rescue them, we can't take them to our homes. We have to take them to the residential homes. And that is our worry. So until we are able to promote family cohesion and tell parents that, please, keep your children. Don't give your children to anyone. Take care of your own children. That will still be a challenge because as we reduce the numbers within a period of time, it rises again. But this time, there is the gatekeeping policy, which is regulating the admission of children into residential homes. And to add this, we are also promoting deinstitutionalization, and it's called the Care Reform Program. Under the Care Reform Program, we want children to leave residential homes and to grow up in family settings. So whether it is your family member or somebody you don't know, we call them foster parents. We are training foster parents, we register them, we give them certificates or license, and we place children with them. Last year, for the 2 years that this program has been running, we've trained 1,006 foster parents, but we've been able to place only 246 children and with the parents because they have to accept who comes into their homes. And a big challenge there is that we are unable to give them support for them to care for their children. Some people say they don't have money, but they are ready to help. So if we had the resources, then they will accept the children to take, because it's a burden that we are coming to put on them. But some are helping, and we are grateful to them. Those who have taken some of these children into their homes and caring for them, and also the family members who have accepted other members of their families and are taking care of them. We are so grateful to them for this success that we have, and it's ongoing. So if you want to be a foster parent, we can train and register you.
Okay, well, I'll think about it. Thank you so much for sharing so much of this with us. I think it's a very important work that you do, and keep it up. Keep it up. We'll be speaking with Reverend Dr. Comfort Asare. She is the Director of Social Welfare at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.